Mama D's knock didn't sound like a request. It hit the door like a warning. Her voice came through firm, sharp, but with a threat of concern only a mother could carry. "Get up," she said, as if sleeping was a luxury no one in this house could afford anymore. "We got work to do. This ain't just about you no more. This is about the truth coming out, and we're gonna make sure it does." Inside the dim room, Scrappy sat slouched on the edge of the bed, elbows on his knees, running a shaky hand through his hair. The weight on his shoulders felt heavier than anything he'd carried on stage or on set. He'd been lied to for so long, fooled by a woman he once believed would ride for him no matter what. He didn't even know who she was anymore. He didn't even know if the life they'd built together was ever real. Mama D stepped in, her presence filling the space like a storm cloud ready to burst. She walked straight up to him and put a hand on his shoulder. "I know, baby," she said quietly, locking eyes with him, "but you're not alone in this. You got people who got your back, and we're gonna take this all the way to the end. We ain't stopping until Bambi faces what she's done. You hear me?" Scrappy nodded slowly, the look in his eyes shifting from confusion to a cold determination. He didn't know every step he was about to take, but one thing was clear. He was done letting her run the game. Not after everything. Out at the retreat, the drama was still alive and breathing. Tasha K had stepped into the center of it all without flinching. She'd gone live, she'd dropped hints, she'd kept the tension high. And now she was about to press even harder. The main lounge was full of side chatter until she walked in. Her heels tapped against the floor like a countdown, and every conversation stopped. All eyes followed her as she crossed the room. Bambi sat on one of the couches with a couple of cast members, pretending to scroll her phone like she wasn't bothered, but her shoulders were too tense, her eyes darting up too quickly. Tasha came to a stop right in front of her, her arms crossed. The air felt thick, almost too heavy to breathe. Bambi looked up with a glare that couldn't quite hide the flicker of panic underneath. "You think you're helping, Tasha? You think you're the hero here?" Tasha's voice was low but cut like glass. "No, Bambi, I'm not the hero. I'm just the one who ain't afraid to pull the curtain back. You've been playing this game too long, and now you're getting what's coming to you." The silence in the room deepened. The other cast members shifted uncomfortably, not wanting to be caught on the wrong side of history. Bambi's tone sharpened, her words dripping with resentment. "You don't know the first thing about what I've been through. I've been protecting Scrappy, protecting my family." Tasha's laugh was short and cold. "No, you've been lying to him. And worse than that, you've been lying to yourself. You thought you could keep this going forever, but the truth, it always comes out." The flash of anger across Bambi's face was so quick, it almost looked like she might leap to her feet. Instead, she stood slowly, every muscle tight. Her voice shook, not from weakness, but from trying to hold it all in. "You're not gonna ruin me, Tasha. I've been through worse than you. You want to tear me down? Good luck." Tasha stepped forward, shrinking the distance between them until their words were the only thing in the air. "You still don't get it. This isn't about me. This is about your lies. And now it's time you face the consequences. Blame me if you want, but we both know whose hands are dirty here." Bambi looked away, her jaw tightening, fingers twitching like she wanted to clap back, but couldn't find the words. That tiny pause told Tasha she'd struck exactly where it hurt. Without another glance, Tasha turned and walked off, her exit leaving a silence that said more than any insult could. Bambi stayed frozen in place, her chest rising and falling too fast. The humiliation sinking in. The truth was out now, and every set of eyes in the room knew it. By the time night rolled in, the whole retreat had a buzz under its skin. Word spread quick. Scrappy hadn't been seen all evening. The cast gathered in the main hall for the final group meeting, producers pacing behind cameras, waiting for him to show. Every second felt longer than the last. Finally, the door creaked open, and he walked in. The energy shifted instantly. Scrappy's face was unreadable, his eyes shadowed by something heavy. He didn't speak at first, letting the tension build until it felt like the walls might crack. Then, His voice cut through the air. "I've been sitting in my room all day thinking about everything," he said, slow and deliberate. "And I've come to one conclusion. I can't let this go on anymore. I can't keep pretending like everything's fine when it's not. The truth is out now, and I have to face it." The room went still. Even the background hum of the cameras seemed to fade. His words were thick with hurt, the kind that sticks in your throat. "I've been hurt. I've been lied to. But I've got a family to think about, and I'm done letting lies destroy us." Mama D stood at the side, a faint smile breaking through her worry. "That's my boy," she whispered. Bambi's voice came from the back, brittle and breaking at the edges. "Scrappy, please. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I never wanted to hurt you." He turned to her, and whatever softness he'd once had for her was gone. "You've hurt me more than you'll ever understand, but I've got to move on, for me, and for my daughter." The weight of that last word landed on Bambi like a brick. She swallowed hard, but there was no fighting it. She'd lost him, she knew it. Around them, the group started to break apart, voices low, footsteps shuffling out. The cameras kept rolling, catching every glance, every whispered comment. As people left, Mama D pulled Scrappy aside. "You did the right thing, baby. Now it's time to let go of the past." He nodded, but his eyes told the truth. His heart was still heavy, and nothing about this was going to feel clean. The lies had been cracked open for the world to see, and once that happened, there was no sealing them back up. For Bambi, this was just the start. The internet would tear through every detail, every clip, every rumor, until she had nowhere left to run. And deep down, she knew. Her reckoning had only begun. The night after the confrontation felt like it stretched on forever. The retreat's luxury setting, the candlelit hallways, the soft hum of the pool filters, the dim glow of scattered lamps, couldn't cover the fact that the entire atmosphere was poisoned. No one was sleeping peacefully. People were in their rooms, pacing, whispering on phones, scrolling their feeds to see what the world was already saying, and the world was saying a lot. Clips from Tasha K's earlier face-off with Bambi were already circulating online. Half the cast hadn't even unpacked their emotions yet, and the internet was already shaping the narrative, making memes, dissecting every facial expression. In her suite, Bambi sat on the bed in sweatpants, her lashes still perfectly in place but her hands restless, picking at her nails until the acrylic edges chipped. Her phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Texts from people she hadn't heard from in months, some fake checking on her, others dropping cryptic, praying for you messages. She knew what that meant. They weren't praying. They were waiting for the next headline. Across the room, her stylist was stuffing clothes into a duffel bag like they might need to leave in a hurry. "What are you doing?" Bambi snapped. The stylist hesitated, then said softly, "Girl, you see what's going on out there? This isn't just some on-camera mess anymore. They're digging into your real life." Meanwhile, across the hall, Scrappy wasn't pacing. He wasn't packing. He was sitting perfectly still at the edge of the bed, elbows on his knees, staring at the floor like if he looked up, he might break something. Mama D sat beside him, scrolling on her iPad, reading comments out loud like she was narrating a war. Somebody just called her scam buy. "You see this? Oh, and here's one. Bambi been playing Monopoly with that man's life. Laud, these folks ain't got no mercy." Scrappy didn't even smirk. "Mama, I don't care about what they're saying online. I care about the fact that I've been living with someone I don't even know anymore." Mama D put the iPad down, leaned closer. "Then you need to stop talking about it and start acting on it. You said you were ready. Were you lying to me?" Back in the main lounge, Tasha was sipping tea like she hadn't just detonated a bomb in the middle of the retreat. A few cast members drifted in and out, testing the waters. No one wanted to be the next target, but everyone wanted to hear what she'd say next. Carly Red, never one to miss a messy beat, slid into the chair across from her. "So, what's the next move? 'Cause you know she's not gonna just let this go." Tasha smirked. "Oh, I know, but here's the thing, Carly. I don't start fires I can't keep burning. She wants to play victim? Fine. But I've got receipts that'll make her wish she stayed quiet." Hours later, producers called everyone into the main hall again. The cameras were rolling before anyone even walked in, a sure sign that something was about to happen. Scrappy entered first this time, not late like before. He didn't say a word as he took a seat, his posture stiff, his eyes forward. Bambi came in seconds later, her chin high, her walk slower than usual, as if every step was calculated. The energy between them was so tense the crew didn't even need to direct. All they had to do was keep filming. The host cleared their throat, ready to address the elephant in the room, but Scrappy cut in before they could. "No, I'll talk." The room froze. He took a slow breath. "I've been sitting here thinking about everything that's gone down, and I realized I can't keep being in a situation where I don't even recognize the person I'm with. I've been lied to, manipulated, and made to feel like I'm the problem when I'm not." Bambi jumped in. "So you just gonna act like you know the whole story? Like you haven't done your share of dirt?" Scrappy's eyes narrowed. "The difference is, I've owned mine. You've been hiding yours, and when it came out, you doubled down. You didn't even care how it made me look." The room shifted uncomfortably. Rashida leaned forward in her seat, clearly torn. Yandy whispered something to Mendices, who just shook his head slowly. "Tasha?" She was leaning back, enjoying every second like it was the season finale. Bambi's voice cracked now, the veneer starting to slip. "You think I wanted this? You think I woke up one day and decided, oh, let me destroy my marriage on national TV? No, Scrap. I was trying to protect you, protect us." "From what?" Scrappy shot back, his voice rising. "The truth? 'Cause the truth don't need protecting. Lies do." A hush fell over the room. Even the crew seemed hesitant to breathe too loud. Mama D stood off to the side, arms folded, watching her son stand his ground like she'd always told him to. The argument didn't end there. It spilled into the hall after filming stopped. Bambi followed Scrappy out, catching his arm. "Don't walk away from me like that." He pulled free. "I've been walking away from myself for years to keep this going, not anymore." He walked off toward the elevators, leaving her standing in the empty hallway, cameras catching every flicker of emotion on her face. Anger, fear, regret, all tangled together. By morning, the retreat felt like a crime scene. People were either avoiding each other or clustering into little whisper groups. Social media was worse. Fans had taken sides overnight. Hashtags were trending. Memes were everywhere. One post showed Bambi's face over the words, "Gaslight Queen, 2025. Another was a clip of Mama D from years ago saying, "The truth always comes out," with the caption, "And here we are." In her room, Bambi scrolled through the chaos until she had to throw the phone onto the bed. Tears welled up, but she forced them back. She wouldn't cry on camera. She wouldn't give them that. But what she couldn't stop thinking about was Scrappy's face the night before, the way his eyes looked at her like she was a stranger. That was the part she couldn't shake. Downstairs, Mama D was having breakfast with Tasha like they'd been friends forever. "You did what needed to be done," Mama D said between bites. Tasha just nodded. "Sometimes the truth don't set you free right away. Sometimes it burns everything down first." Mama D smiled faintly. "Good. Let it burn." What no one knew was that Tasha had one more piece of the puzzle, something she hadn't dropped yet, something that would take the mess from bad to catastrophic. But she was saving it, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect audience. And in the middle of it all, Scrappy was starting to realize that exposing the truth was only step one. The fallout? That was going to be a whole different battle. The third day of the retreat didn't feel like a reality show anymore. It felt like the set of a documentary about the slow dismantling of a relationship in real time. No staged conversations, no forced icebreakers from producers. People moved differently now. The cast wasn't mingling in the kitchen. They were lurking in corners, speaking in low tones, watching for the next eruption. Bambi sat alone on the deck, oversized sunglasses shielding her eyes from both the sunlight and the steady stares from anyone passing by. Her coffee sat untouched on the table, steam curling up into the crisp morning air. She wasn't scrolling through her phone anymore. She was staring at the horizon, replaying the last 48 hours in her head like a loop she couldn't stop. Every conversation, every look, every word from Scrappy replayed with a sting sharper than the last. She told herself she'd been trying to protect him. But if she was being honest with herself, she'd been trying to protect the image, the brand, the facade they'd built together. And now that facade had cracks so big the whole world could see through them. Inside, Mama D was in full command of the breakfast table, retelling the events of the night before with her own colorful commentary. And when my baby said the truth don't need protecting, lies do, whew, I thought the roof was gonna blow clean off. She slapped the table, laughing, but there was pride in her voice. That's the scrap I raised. Across from her, Tasha K was quiet for once, not because she had nothing to say, but because she was thinking about her final move. She still had one more ace in her hand, one more piece of evidence she hadn't released yet. And when she did, there wouldn't be any coming back for Bambi. Scrappy emerged from his room mid-morning, wearing that unreadable look again, the kind that told everyone he was processing something big. Cameras tracked him as he made his way to the deck. Bambi didn't turn around when she heard his footsteps, but her grip on the coffee cup tightened. He stopped a few feet behind her, not saying anything at first. Finally, he spoke, his voice low and deliberate. You know, I keep thinking, maybe there's something you could say that would make this make sense, but every time I try to picture it, I come up empty. She set the coffee down, still not facing him. So what? You came out here to tell me you've already made up your mind? I came out here to tell you I can't live like this no more, he said. I can't be in a house where I don't know if the person I'm with is telling me the truth or playing me. That hit her harder than she expected. She turned finally, pulling off her sunglasses, her eyes glassy but fierce. You think you're the only one hurt here? You think this hasn't ripped me apart too? Difference is, he said, stepping closer, I didn't put us here. She looked like she wanted to argue, but the words stuck. And in that silence, the air between them felt like it was cracking. Scrappy shook his head and walked back inside, leaving her there with the sound of the wind and the weight of her own choices. By midday, the retreat was buzzing again, not with casual chatter, but with whispers about Tasha's big reveal. Producers had gotten wind that she was holding back something explosive, and they were pushing to make sure the cameras were rolling when she dropped it. In the lounge, Carly Red was practically bouncing in her seat. Girl, what is it? You can't just say you got something and then keep it to yourself. Tasha smirked. Timing is everything, and right now, it ain't time. Not yet. But the time came sooner than anyone expected. That evening, as the group gathered for what was supposed to be a calm dinner, Tasha pulled out her phone. The screen lit up with a video thumbnail, and she tilted it just enough for Scrappy to see. His eyes narrowed instantly. What is that? He asked. Proof, Tasha replied simply, and then she hit play. The footage wasn't shaky cell phone video. It was crisp, clear, the kind of quality you only got from someone close to the situation. It showed Bambi sitting in a car late at night, speaking into her phone. Her voice was calm, almost smug. He ain't never gonna find out. Not unless I want him to. You keep your mouth shut, and we're good. The table went dead silent. Bambi froze, her fork hovering in midair. That's not what it looks like, she said quickly, her voice trembling. It looks, Scrappy said slowly, like you. Been laughing at me behind my back. She shook her head, her words tumbling out too fast. That was months ago. I was angry, I was venting. It doesn't mean... It means, he cut in, that while I was breaking my neck to hold us, together you were making plans for the day it all fell apart. Mama D's voice came from the end of the table, sharp and final. Baby, if she can say it to them, she could have said it to you, and she didn't. The room erupted into a low hum of side comments and exchanged looks. Bambi pushed her chair back, her appetite gone, her face pale under the harsh overhead lights. She stood, her voice shaking between anger and desperation. You all think you know everything. You think a 30-second clip is my whole life. Well, it's not. And I'm not gonna sit here and let you all pick me apart like I'm not even human. No one stopped her as she stormed out, the cameras following her until she disappeared into the hallway. The rest of the night felt hollow. Scrappy didn't chase after her. He didn't text. He didn't ask anyone where she went. He just sat there, staring at the empty space she'd left behind, knowing that whatever love they'd once had couldn't survive this. By the time the retreat wrapped, lines were drawn so deep they'd never be crossed again. Tasha had secured her reputation as the one who brought the truth to light. Mama D had made it clear she'd stand beside her son no matter what. And Scrappy, he left with the weight of finality in his chest. As for Bambi, she didn't ride back with the group. She left in a separate car, her bags packed, her face turned toward the window like the scenery might give her an answer she couldn't find in people anymore. She knew the internet would eat her alive in the days to come, that every gossip blog would run the clip, that every mistake she'd made would be replayed, slowed down, analyzed. But the thing that scared her most wasn't the public's opinion. It was knowing that she'd lost the one person whose forgiveness she couldn't buy, outtalk, or charm her way into. And in the quiet after the cameras stopped, the truth hung, heavy in the air. Some endings don't come with closure. Some just leave you standing in the wreckage, watching the smoke rise,